break over. Let's see what we can get done in terms. Actually, I think I only have 2 more components to put on here, and then we can start testing. So the markings are on the back here. I actually set it up so these two would, anything you plugged in here would match over here. So if you needed to do a daisy chain, but actually, as it turns out for the clock, I don't need daisy chain. So I'm going to put this on. This is another one of these cut things. I just cut it with the cutters there, and you end up losing one of the pieces, but that's okay. Now I'm going to try and grab a piece of tape. I think I have one up here. Or we can be less fiddly and just get a piece from here. I just do this. This is my method for holding it in place while I turn it over. I got to tell you, the template worked out really nicely for doing that for me. Just holding those LEDs in rather than like having to bend the leads and everything. That was a nice, I don't know why I didn't think of it. But, well, I have thought of it, but why I hadn't done it before. Turn a soldering iron back on. Get the solder ready to go. And these are all going to be right along here and hopefully not hit the LEDs with the soldering iron. And if I really want to be sure of that, I'm going to move this down. And back to the music. And with that, we're done building this. I've just got to build 1 or 2 more, depending. The original that I built has a number of problems. Doesn't quite fit the template. I'm not sure why or how to fix that. Pardon me. So, yeah, either 1 or 2 more. But for the sake of testing, we can use it. And what I want to do is now hook up the controller. First, let's hook up the controller to the new one. And to do that, I need to know, so negative is down here and positive's up here. This is, yeah. So if the negative is down there, I'm trying to remember how this works. I think I set up the black wire out of this sort of rainbow set of wires so that it would go down here. That's if I'm remembering it correctly. So let me see if I can't get that put together. And yeah, I'm going to need a magnifying glass, and it's going to take me a minute. So back to the music again. Now, for the moment of truth, we're going to plug it in and see if I wired it up right. Now, this is actually wired up for the minutes at the moment. Let's just see. It all comes to life. Yep, there's 10 minutes. It may be hard to see, so let me turn off the lights. And you can see it's showing 10 minutes. It is not doing the colon because I didn't hook that up. So let me get back to that. Whoops. I'm having a little problem with my switch. There we go. Okay. So I had 2 wires for that. Now I've done this a little bit differently, so I'm going to have to change this. When I built this one, I used the turned pins for this 2-pin header right here, because that's going to be a little bit more stable when you have only 2 or 4 pins. This with 10 pins is real stable, but I need to get out of my bag of wires. Found it. So some of these are more appropriate for turned pin. That should be about the right length. I want one light and one dark. So there is, that's too long. Doesn't really matter as long as it's the right sort of design. So let's see if I can remember this now. The square pin is the positive. We'll put that in there. And when I get to building this, I'm probably going to have some better solutions to this, but this may be the final solution. I just keep revising my design as I go to solve various issues. So let's put the negative pin in there. And then that is going to connect into this connector down here. This is actually, that should technically be for the colon after the hours. Let's see if I can get this all. Once this all goes into a box, it's going to be a lot easier. Oh, my mistake. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I had one going in here and one going in here. I'm just not sure exactly which pin it was. I think it was the middle one of that. Nope, it's not lit up yet. And we just knocked out positive. It might have been a mistake to do it this way. See if we can get the negative there. The positive here. I'm going to want to change these out for the turned pins. We may also have the polarity backwards. Uh-oh. I just knocked out a couple of these. Tell you what, I'll be right back. We'll have it fixed. All right, 5 minutes later, something like that. Yeah, and there's something else weird going on here because, oh, that's a 6, I guess. Let me turn off the lights again. All right, yeah, we're into the 16th minute, and I just knocked something out. Now we're back to 10. So yeah, this is very fragile right now, but I just wanted to show you that I can get it working. I think my next step is I want to change out the connectors here because things are falling apart, and then there's something else going on here. I got to figure all of that out and get it solid, and when I come back, I'll have that handled, and then we'll get to actually doing 2 of these so we can see, let's say, hours and minutes, and that should, yeah, that's a clock. And then I got to build more. So yeah, you can see it's just going to keep doing that to me. So I got to figure out a solution for this. I'll be back. All right, it occurs to me I should show you kind of what I'm doing here. Let me adjust the light just a little bit. And if you flip this over, I was trying to figure out how to get the colon hooked up. And I believe I had it as negative on the top and positive on the bottom here. It's just I'm intercepting the signals where they would have gone. And instead of putting these particular resistors into the board, we use a pointer better than my big fat fingers. I got 1 here, I got 2 here, I got 1 here, I got 2. I only need 1 of the 2 here, and I can't remember which one it is. But we'll go ahead and we'll try and hook this up. But I'm going to take a break for a minute, and for you, I'll be right back. Okay, folks, after a bit of work, I hate to leave you on a cliffhanger here, but it's only kind of partly working. And actually, just even as I do this, I think part of the problem here is that I've moved this around so many times that my power connection is starting to go. So there, now you can see I got a 10 on here. And turn off the lights again. You got a 10 on there, and the colon is disconnected, but it does work. And on this one here, I've got a 0. I'm not sure what happened to the second digit. And I think let me turn this back on for a second and wrap up. I don't know what's going on with that one. I'm going to have to figure that out too. But I think the number of wires hanging off of this thing, and now these connectors are starting to come loose on me. I'm probably going to have to do a permanent install of the wires. I'm not sure if I want to use the DuPont wires for that or find another solution. The problem is I can't really replace these connectors with something more convenient. So I can't get cables that have a better connector to connect to that. So I have to figure this out. I may have to take these connectors off and permanently wire the DuPont wires in there. That will make it stable down here. Then up here, I've got to decide at each one of these boards with the digits, and like I said, it's just there's something I think is shorting out, which I want to disconnect it just so I don't blow anything out in the middle of this. I got to decide if I want to try and remove these connectors again, which was a real pain the last time, and install the wires directly to them. There is an order to the wires. The colors don't actually matter. So if you're looking at this, don't use it as a reference with the colors. But what you do want to do is match colors. Like you can see that I've got the same sort of rainbow here as I have here. It starts with brown and works its way to green, brown to, oh, the green is there. It's being hidden by the blue. That's for the colon. And then there's other stuff there. So I need to figure out how I'm going to deal with the mess of wires, clean up the power connection. That's not a biggie. I know it does work. So that's a good thing. I know it works. I've just got to figure that part of it out. So I'm going to end it here. And this is probably already going to be a two-parter as it is, just because it took me so much work to put together. But the main thing was being able to build these digit boards. So I'm very happy with how that worked out. I'm very happy with the template. I'm going to start putting some of this stuff up on the forum so you can download, because I know this is working. I can put a reference to a link to buying it. I know that this works, so I can put a downloadable PC board file. I don't yet know if the 3D print is going to work out because I'm still waiting for it, but I did confirm that it is now here in country, so it should hopefully be here in a couple of days. But it's probably also going to take me a couple of days to release this video. So I'm sorry I'm going on so long about this, but I feel very apologetic for not quite finishing up what I was trying to do in this video. So I'm going to try and get it straightened out. I'll probably release a short video once I figure out what I'm going to do and get it addressed. And that way, then I can just have a clock to start with. I can have just these two boards if I need to. Actually, I'm probably going to replace one of these, this one, actually, because it doesn't fit the template, because I soldered it all together without the template, and it's really hard to get it to fit. So I'll probably end up doing 2 more of these to cover all of that. Fortunately, these all have connectors on them, so I can test them out, which is the whole point. And I'll be able to use this, I'm sure, for some other project. I'm already thinking of having a thermometer so I can look at the temperature. It doesn't have to be in the middle of the night, like with the clock, but I'm going to have the temperature. I can have humidity. I can have barometric pressure. I could basically build an entire weather station out of this with a clock, and the clock is kind of demoted to being just the time, not the weather. But that's what I'm thinking of. Let's just get this part of it complete. And let me figure out what to do with this one, and I'll see you in the next one when I should hopefully have this problem solved. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself and stay tuned.